everyone. Hi, I am Judge Vivian, and we are here with our, I want to say fifth show of As the Law Turns. We are so excited to have everybody here with us, and we are so excited about these next group of topics. I know that I do the introduction every time, but I'm going to keep giving it to you guys just for the first couple months or so. But our show is As the Law Turns. I have a wonderful co-host who was a judge on the bench for over 13 years. And we are just talking about events and topics. We get to decide whether they're liable, guilty, all of that stuff. And we ask for your input throughout this time. We're very, very excited to have you guys joining us. And we're very, very, very excited to have you guys' opinion on everything. I've been licensed now going about 5 years. I was licensed in 2016. I've been working for the Public Defender's Office of the 7th Circuit, which is Daytona Beach or Volusia County, for the last almost 5 years. And I thought to do this show, and gratefully Judge Field came on board. She retired last December, and we are so excited to have all you guys. I will let Judge Fields do her introductions, and then we're going to dive into some hot topics of the night. Okay, guys?
Welcome, all of our new people. I am Judge Fields. Well, my name gets longer. I am retired Judge Dawn P. Fields. This hair is doing what it wants to do. I was on the bench for 14 years. I retired December 31st, 2020. Attorney Vivian Williams was an attorney practicing in front of me about 3 or 4 years ago. And I enjoy the show. I enjoy the bench, but I'm also enjoying retirement. Like Judge Vivian said, each week we discuss topics of controversy. We love your input, and sometimes we're yin and yang because we're on two generations separated by a lot of years. And sometimes we approach things from a different perspective. The law is the law, but kind of the interpretation and our feeling and intent behind how we practice law is different. So the purpose of this is to increase membership in the bar, which United States wide, I think Judge Vivian said it's 5% Black. I think 3% male and 2% female. So one of the purposes is to increase interest in law-related fields. So thanks for joining in. We're here every second and fourth Thursday. That's 2 and 4. Former high school teacher, so I'm using my craft. 2 and 4. We are ready. I'm excited about our topics tonight. I'm ready.
So, guys, dun, 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 dun. Now that we've had that beautiful introduction by Judge Fields, I like pointing out every single time, it was so amazing being in front of her. She is one of the few Black judges of color in this county. There are at least 40 judges. It may be more, but I don't remember the exact number, so I'm not going to be wrong. 43. And the entire time that I have been here in this circuit, she was pretty much the only Black judge. And then the other judge of color is Panamanian, the Chief Justice of the circuit currently, Judge Raul Zambrano, who I've also had the pleasure that I'm currently in front of right now. Love him too. But one of the greatest parts about knowing Judge Fields was that we had the all-Black girl courtroom. And one of these days, I am going to show you guys a snippet. I might do it tonight. The all-Black girl courtroom sketch that Lisa Ray and some other great Black women put together. So I'm excited about that. But without further ado, and to keep from holding you guys, let's go ahead and dive into our topics. Our topic of tonight are Brittany Spears' guardianship and, of course, Prince Harry. Now, I know, guys, I have a bit of a typo in guardianship. I fixed it on one flyer, but I missed this one. I know how to spell guardianship.
That's okay.
And I'm very excited about these topics. I will say I was kind of going back and forth on the royals topic because it's not really legal, but there are a lot of, I believe, legal implications really that could come out of something like this. So I thought it would be a great topic for us to sit down and kind of discuss with you guys. Feel free, as we always do throughout the show, ladies and gentlemen, to comment in the post section, the comment section. We read your comments. We hear you out. We know that you're there. We're not missing you. We will talk to you. And we want you guys to join and be a part of the conversation. So topic number 1 is Brittany Spears' guardianship. Now, to give us a bit of an explanation on what that is and what that means, I will go ahead and now put the ticker at the bottom. We are not attorneys. This is not legal advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. My disclaimer. So just to give a background of what guardianship is. So I know a lot of people have heard of the term power of attorney. It's a very popular phrase that most people hear about, and they just kind of run with it. And they know it means that it gives you the power or the legal power to do something for someone that's not yourself. Sometimes that can be a grandmother, an aunt. It could even actually be someone you don't know. But once that power is given to you, you have that power until termination, or many other things. But the simplest way to say it is until termination.
In other words, as conservatorship, right? Guardianship, conservatorship, power of attorney. And sometimes we refer to it as POA. We do that to keep you non-lawyers guessing and paying our fees. But anyway, just throw that out there.
Stop telling all the secrets. So guardianship goes, though, a little bit farther than power of attorney. You have a lot more legal rights. You essentially are responsible for medical, mental health, physical, financial. Pretty much you are in charge of another human being's life, almost as if you are once again, if you were their parent before, if you are their parent. They could put their own food and things in their mouth sometimes, depending on the level of disability, but you basically have the control over their lives. So our guest
and the authority of the court behind you. You don't have to necessarily say, "Mother, may I?" and "Child, would you do this?" and get the permission of a spouse or the other parent or your brother or sister. As the guardian, you're court ordered to have authority to do certain things, do a lot of things for the person, almost against the person's wish or wishes. It's supposed to be in the best interest of a person. The typical guardianship, I can't say typical how long it lasts. Typically, by definition, it's supposed to last as long as the person needs some sort of assistance and guardianship. Once again, it could be your spouse, a neighbor, anyone that the court feels like you have the experience and the wherewithal and the unbiased attitude to take care of this person's finances and health and their children and what they eat and what they wear and where they go. So it's a serious thing backed up by the court.
Yes, and it happens for multiple reasons. Now, for one, in this particular instance, Brittany Spears had some mental health issues. And those mental health issues, her father and family members thought became so severe that they needed to take over her estate, especially being that she's a big celebrity. They don't want her to lose her money, not, maybe lose some of her credibility or whatever, or mess up a contract. So her father sought guardianship over her some time ago, and he won that. And so her father has basically been taking care of her estate for quite some time. However, she had a few problems with her father's leadership and went back to the courts a couple of years ago and asked for another entity, an entity this time, to be placed. And that's the other thing about guardianships. An entity can be the guardian, quote unquote. And by entity, I do mean a corporation or a business of some sort. And that is what she asked for in this particular instance. However, the courts did not fully agree with her and only gave the institution co-guardianship powers. So technically, her father is still one of her guardians, and the entity is the second guardian in this case. Now, she recently went before the courts this March stating that she would like to remove her father entirely and give over the entirety of guardianship ability to the entity. She cites quite a few things, one of them being that she is a little fearful of her father. He's abusive. She doesn't think that he has her best interest at heart. And she kind of just wants to kind of get back to her life and enjoy herself and her life as it currently is. And so she would prefer that he not be it. So you guys, that's the topic today. So we could get a chance to talk about, like, have you ever heard of this before? How would you feel about this? How do you feel about this being an entity that's taking over instead of a person? There are quite a few things. And I'm going to let Judge Fields kind of pipe up on this one a little more.
And in some ways, it's a developing concept that's I guess its time has come, because there was an issue years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, about the mentally challenged or the mentally disabled or the mentally infirm not being capable of handling their affairs. And so sometimes the law steps in and dictates that maybe that what the family could or should have done when grandma was a child or great grandma was a child. Now the family structure has dissipated or changed so much or been so disrupted. It's not, quote, family anymore. The court has to step in, and a lot of things people don't want the court to legislate, but the court has to legislate because it tends to lead to organization and structure in society about how kids go to school and where to go to school and how they live, and when abortion is legal or not legal. Do you have to have parental consent? When you can smoke and not smoke? Join the army, not join the army? I think the basis of all of that law is to have some sort of foundation and order in our society. So with that premise is understood, that this guardianship, power of attorney, conservatorship was the idea of protecting people that could not protect themselves. So when I was a school teacher, the danger of labeling a child, especially special education or educably retarded, when that 30 years ago, when you get that label, it's kind of hard to work around it. For example, now that Brittany Spears has been under the guidance or direction or authority of the court, it's probably a little uphill battle for her to tell the court, now I'm sane enough, competent enough to make the decision that I don't want my father being a conservative. That's a tricky thing, because she's saying, I really can't handle my affairs, but I want my father to handle it, and I'm intelligent enough to make that decision. That's a slope that's hard to maneuver. But anyway, I wanted to give kind of a background of the reasons why a lot of laws are had, just to make society conform. Otherwise, that, well, we don't have that morality or the spirituality or whatever we had 45 years ago or 50 years ago, when we didn't have those laws in the book. So we have a Brittany Spears that at some point was deemed incompetent to handle her affairs. 2 people are appointed. Now she's, I guess, competent enough, or maybe through her lawyer, to make the decision that she only wants one entity, the entity, and not her father. So it's the question that we're going to pose to you is, what do you think about the idea of conservatorship? And what do you think about the idea, what factors the court maybe should look at in terms of getting the father off of that? And could be a court be involved in this kind of thing? I mean, is it just a father-daughter situation, relationship, and they could handle their own thing without court intervention? So it's an interesting topic. Judge Vivian, looks like Regina Nunes is weighed in.
I see it. It says, she is of age and it's her property as long as she is not declared incapacitated or incompetent. She should be able to choose who is over her estate. I mean, I can agree with that. Now, Regina just pointed out some things, guys, that we're going to have to point out. Incapacitation or incompetency legally is a completely different thing from true mental incapacity or incompetency. It has a whole nother bearing. It's a lot more intensive and on a completely different scale. So what she's essentially saying is if she is legally competent and able to do that, she should be able to choose her own estate. I can't disagree with that. She's over the age of 18. She knows kind of what she's doing. It seems like she's kind of gotten herself back together, or at least gotten herself in a place where she understands more how to handle her mental illness and her mental health issues. And now she wants an entity to take over.
Well, the other thing about being a judge and sitting on that bench and making that decision, my definition of incapacitated or incompetent may be different from another. And so we rely on lawyers to point us in the direction so we can make a good decision. So the lawyer for Brittany Spears will talk about incapacitation and define it one way, and a lawyer against Brittany Spears will define incompetent another way, and the judge is the sole person that making a decision. Unfortunately, most of the decisions are not a 3-judge panel or 5-judge panel or 7-judge panel or 9-judge panel. It's the judge sitting there. It goes back to what we were saying for the beginning. It's important to have diversity on the bench, varied experience on the bench, because my definition of what it means to be incapacitated, or my interpretation, may be different from a person that was raised in New York, upper middle class, white parents, mom and dad there the whole time. My mom and dad were there the whole time. But the point I'm trying to make, diversity is so important, because you're trying to get one person, a judge, to make the decision about what Brittany Spears' life is going to look like. And it's a lot of responsibility. Let me get back to the other point. When I talk to other people, young people always say, you are a good arguer. You need to be a lawyer or a judge. That's not what a good arguer is. You're the ones that's now tasked with defending or opposing Brittany Spears and her millions of dollars and her life. And the judge is the one that's tasked to make a decision. It's not about fun and games. It's not about the actress for the TV. It's not about tooting your own horn. It's not about the ability to argue and overtalk someone. It's about someone's life and determine how that life should be lived, or should be lived according to the court system. Cheyenne Jenkins, you want to read that, Judge Vivian?
Yes, she says, what mental illness does she have to make her incompetent to handle her estate? I am not that familiar with the specifics of the scenario. Now, even though this is a very public case, and even though this is something we get a chance to talk about when you don't often hear about this in such a public manner, we still are not privy to her medical information. We just know that there was some mental health illness or awareness or thought process that was put before the courts, that at that time the courts did deem that they believed she may need the assistance or the help. Guardianships can also be agreed to, however. So they don't have to be something that someone just does without the other person's approval. It's possible she could have also agreed with this herself at that time and basically said that she didn't think she had the wherewithal to continue taking care of her own affairs.
And once again, I have to harp on this. My interpretation of what it means to be mentally ill, regardless of what the doctors say, because I'm sitting here as a judge, may be different from yours. So Brittany Spears was photographed on a beach, nude, running in the kite with the wind. Someone your age may say, whatever. But for the grace of God, all of us have done the same thing. I don't know. And so as a judge, I have to make a decision about, is that incapacitated? Is that incompetent? Is she insane? Is she legally able to handle her own affairs just because she was flying a kite nude in the rain in Jamaica while smoking a doobie? I'm getting too personal. Sorry, I'm not get that personal. But so I get back to the point that I want to emphasize. It's important for the law to represent a lot of different personalities and a lot of different thoughts, because what I would say is an indication that she can handle affairs. Another person would not. For example, she has a boyfriend every week. She's sleeping with all these stars on top of pool tables. Maybe she's just have a drinking problem. Maybe she's not mentally incapacitated or incompetent. Maybe we should get her some help. But this is the thing. When we're trying to Not shading Brittany, not shading Brittany. What I know about Brittany, her antics or conduct have been outlandish. Is it a publicity ploy? I don't know. Like Judge Vivian said, I'm not privy to her medical records. Would she be the first star that engaged in outlandish conduct? Not by far. Does that mean she can't handle her own affairs? I don't know. How many stars in my days have ended up broke, taking a disadvantage of it? Oh, the Beatles died rich. The Temptations died rich. I don't know. Did James Brown die rich? I don't know. So if Brittany wants to spend her money the way she wants to spend it, who is her father, anyone else to protect her from herself? I don't know. These are the things that, we need to throw out. What society attempts to do, what law attempts to do, is give some sort of chaos. It's some sort of order to chaos. But what is order and what is chaos? Oh, Regina Nunley. Usually you will need an expert to help make the decision if a person is incapable of handling their business. Well, if your expert out experts my expert, Brittany is incompetent. If your expert under experts my expert, Brittany is not incompetent. Once again, it depends on how you view situations in life and what you bring to the bench or your authority or your background. Like I said, once again, what I know of Brittany, her conduct, Ms. Spears, has been outlandish. So I have a lot of football players or basketball players or racing stars. I don't know. Is it publicity stunt? I don't know. Am I shading Brittany? Okay. I'll stop shading Brittany. I don't know.
I think that it unfortunately has a lot to do with being in the spotlight. Our whole lives are not put in front of the world like celebrities' lives are, and I think that takes a toll. That could put a lot in the back of your mind. That can really turn you. And some people hate you simply because you're big, or they know they can get to you and all that kind of stuff. So, but to kind of what Regina said really quickly, because I don't want to not explain that a little bit so people aren't confused. She is correct. In the legal world, when we do incapacitation or insanity, there has to be a psychologist or a doctor, mental health expert involved in the process, because we are not such. We don't deem it simply by ourselves. It is not something that comes solely from the defense. It is not something that comes solely from the state. It is not something that comes solely from the court systems. It comes from a doctor. So there is a doctor involved somewhere in this process. So I'm thinking that I'm okay with this decision. It's hers to make. She seems in a better state than she probably currently was, maybe able to handle the situation better.
Can I throw something out? Why didn't Michael? I want to be Jackson. I want to own a chimp. I want to own a fantasy land in my thing. I want to change my nose. I want to. Jackson, why was he allowed to handle his own affairs even until his death?
Well, and that's part I put on everything for those who are trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Oh yes.
I guess because he never asked, or no one ever asked, or it just didn't work out that way, or they didn't think they had the ability to do it as such.
Hold on. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Who knows why? Somebody said, why was her father appointed and not an unbiased third party? To Alexis, appointments are not necessarily made. It generally comes by who is the person who brings forth the action. And that person is the one who usually gets the guardianship because they've brought forth the action, meaning they've asked the question that the court now has to answer. So that is why her father and and their family brought forth this question before the court, and the court answered it as such that they agreed that he would be good for his daughter. And here is a thought: he is her parent. You think most parents are good for their kids? I don't think the average parent is walking around not thinking they're fit to take care of their child and their child's estate before they hit 18. So if they know that their child is having some struggles or some difficulties, and they can be the person who does it, or I don't see why her father taking over would be a bad idea.
And I believe initially, wasn't her father her manager? I mean, he's not just the father. He's in the business.
Yes,
He knows a little bit. Yes.
he
Okay.
was also her manager at some point. So yes, and then that connection he had to her in the music realm. I don't want to get too caught up in this topic because we do have a couple other topics to kind of address tonight. I think the topic that's been burning everybody's souls and hearts and mind and snatched a few pearls over this week was all of the information that the Duchess of Sussex, Miss Meghan, Princess Meghan Markle, and her husband, the Duke of Sussex. That's a very hard word, y'all.
It's hard. It's hard, but you did good. You did good.
Prince Harry decided to have an open conversation with the Queen of Talk Show, Miss Oprah V. Winfrey. And they spilled some beans, honey. I mean, whoo. The pearls were clutched and snatched. Some things were said. You know, just gonna leave that there.
Well, spill the beans for those of them who don't know what we're talking about and what Oprah bought out in the royal couple's relationship. There was some conversation between someone in the royal family and concern about what shade would the baby be. That was concerned because the princess is of mixed heritage. So there was some comment made by somebody about the baby's shade. And it's odd because for me, at 62 years old, bought back a lot of things from law school and being born and raised definitely a Black child. Nobody ever looked at me and say, I wonder where she's from, what island, Jamaica or Bahamas. It was never, I wonder if she's probably French or Italian. No. And so all that stuff brought stuff in me. But I was concerned about now in 2021, why we're having that conversation. I don't know what the culture of England is. I don't know what her concern is. And I don't know what the comment meant. I wonder what shade the baby is going to be. Okay. I wonder if the baby's going to have hair. I wonder who's the baby going to look like. You know, you marry someone that's different from you complexion. You have to understand that happens. And family doesn't have any scruples or limits. Family can say whatever family wants to say, whatever, big, bad, or not bad. And we have this thing called First Amendment. I can speak what I want to speak. I can kind of say what I want to say. And so the brother said, I wonder what shade the baby's going to be. I don't really see the harm.
So you remember, guys, when Judge Fields said in the beginning how we have yin and yang and we don't get along?
Here we go.
Wait a minute. Did she just say she thought I was a coincidence? Judge, I don't think that was an offhanded, I'm too dumb to know that this girl is Black and this child might be browner than we think it's going to be. I think that was a direct hit at being Black. It's the same thing. It reminded me of the paper bag challenge.
What was that?
Where they tell you to put your face to a paper bag, and if you lighter or darker than it, it determines whether you should have been a house slave or not.
Oh,
what?
Wow. Never heard that one.
That was an insult. You're not dense. You know that child is mixed. You know there may be some color, some skin tone, darkness, and some hair being a little thicker than you would like it to be, and a little You knew what you was asking. That wasn't an offhanded, I'm trying to be cute because, oh, maybe I just want to make sure I match his clothes to his skin tone.
Well, didn't she expect that? I mean, did you?
But are you happy when you get racist comments made at you?
Oh, racist comments?
I think it was prejudicial or possibly racist. Yes. And how can really?
I don't know. You have a lily white lineage, and all of a sudden there's someone in the family that is not lily white. And so you're going to say, well, I wonder, I've never thought about this. I wonder what the baby is going to be.
No.
And not racist or not. Which one of us has not said about our dark cousin marrying a light cousin and say, I wonder what kind of hair the baby's going to have.
Nah.
And why is it all of a sudden, there's a comment. What if a Black person said it? We say stuff like that. Yes, we do. We say stuff like that all the time. Now, that's a very, very good point that Attorney Nunley brought up. I'm not saying it's acceptable that they should say the same thing we should say. I mean, men shouldn't say the thing that women can say. Hispanics shouldn't say the same thing that Jewish people should say. I understand that. But there is a level of get over yourself. Things are said. People are curious. And maybe once it's said, the other person can say, wow, where did that comment come from? I would think it's a normal, I have a lily Black family. All of a sudden, my brother brings his white girlfriend home. Wow, I wonder what the hair is going to be like. Why is it not as racist as when I say it?
I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't. Not here. I don't buy it. You're not dense. You know that child's going to be a different color. That child could be a different color if it was just Black parents or just white parents without.
But what if it's I have to say something? I just have to say something. My brother's married to someone biracial, and I just have to say something.
Hey, I'm proud for you too. You don't have to ask the color of their kid. On top of the fact that, just because people can say things does not mean that you don't get aggravated by them. For instance, someone asked, could they touch my hair? Now, white people ask this question all the time. And it can be a little off-putting. Why do you need to touch my hair? Am I a museum? Am I
1972, first year of integration in Campbell High School. We all touched these other hair because we didn't know what a white person's hair felt like. I wanted to touch the hair. They touched mine. I don't know. Why am I so offended if you want to touch my hair?
Offended by it. And my mom always taught me it is not that you did something purposely to offend someone. You don't apologize for that. You apologize that they were offended, period, because that is their feelings. And they are the ones that was offended. So you don't get to come and say, you don't get to come and say, oh, I apologize. No. You apologize because the offense happened and they were offended. Not that you believe they should have been offended. Not that you thought that was your intent to offend, but that the offense happened. So I feel like that's kind of where we are in this perspective. Simone said it should have not. Wait, I can read, guys. Hold on.
We're giving you a chance.
It should not have been said given their position and with the socio-political issues going on. They have to be careful as not to cause issues. I can somewhat agree with that because we understand the touchiness of people and things right now. We understand. And then if it's coupled with other behaviors, I think that's when that kind of thing becomes more offensive. Yes, an offhanded comment about touching your hair can be made simple, although to a lot of Black women, it's an annoying comment. However, it coupled with other things, coupled with your behavior, coupled with maybe what you said prior, coupled with, how you treated me before, that could also make it more offensive. And maybe that's why that particular term was more offensive to her. We don't know, the personal and physical interactions that they've had that could probably have rendered her to where she felt like she was in a different space.
I don't know why she's making a big deal of it. She's never thought about the possibility. I know what you're saying, that it doesn't matter whether she thought about it or not. It's offensive to her. But you're a biracial child involved in a biracial relationship. Duh. Things are going to happen. Put on your big girl tights and suck it up, learn from it, educate the public from it, and not be offended and not make it a big deal on Oprah Winfrey show so Oprah can say,
but hold on,
really?
But hold on. You just said something very important. How do we inform or educate without telling the story to the public?
We do, but it should be a flip, not on Oprah, so she can sensationalize it. After commercial, we're going to explore this statement. No, we're not, Oprah. I just made the statement. My brother-in-law, I was made a comment that probably shouldn't have been made. Next segment.
So you're saying she should have went on a smaller show?
Don't get me started talking about Oprah, who doesn't have an original thought in her head. Anyway, I said it. I said it. Like Oprah would say, well, so-and-so said, and so-and-so.
She is about to make me lose my show.
No, Oprah's respected and she's worked hard. She's worked hard. She's worked hard. She's given a lot and she's worked hard. But I don't
show 5. I would like to keep it.
Would it should have been on Oprah's show? I don't know. And I don't know how Oprah handled it. She's usually professional and handled it with grace. And I hope she handled it like, okay, that was an unfortunate comment, and moved on, and not made a big headline of it, because it shouldn't be a big headline issue. Well, it's something that should be approached and keeping it into context.
I don't agree with that, because I feel like part of educating the public is we have to say it. We have to talk about it. I think if it would not have been on Oprah, it still would have been a comment that was made that would have sensationalism. She is the princess of Sussex, for crying out loud. She is famous. People know her. People adore her. People love her. She's popular. So anything she would have put it in, even if it was the National Enquirer, I think would have gotten press and would have gotten people's ear. And I think that, as you said, the only way to educate people is to bring that out and say, hey, I felt uncomfortable here. This is why. Because there are definitely things that are said and done, even small things throughout your workday, that other cultures can say to you that offend you. And we don't often address those. We ignore it. We keep moving on. We'll put on your big girl panties. But should I have to? Should you respect me as a person? Should you know that offensive things just maybe shouldn't said? Should you be careful, not to be so offensive? You don't want to have to walk around and you always have to be the person to suck it up. So I don't know. We have one more topic and we're getting really, really, really close. And I threw this topic in on Judge at the last moment. She still probably hadn't seen it yet. So I'm going to express it really fast. So guys, dun, 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 dun. The surprise topic of the night. It's a surprise even to Judge Fields.
Uh-oh.
So there was a doctor, a surgeon, who apparently got into some trouble. And he had to have a court appearance. And I know everybody knows that since the pandemic, the court systems have been a little hampered. So they've been doing a lot of things via Zoom. And the doctor wanted to not be present, wanted to be present during that Zoom, and he didn't want to get in any trouble with the judge. So he determined that he was going to go ahead and come to court and appear by Zoom. He thought it would be okay to appear by Zoom, and he thought that he would get the opportunity to see the judge and not get in trouble for not being there. Well, he appeared by Zoom, dun, 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 dun.
And half of his body is showing, and there's gloves on, or the mask on, and surgery, and blood, and
in the operation room. He was operating on a client when he decided to zoom in for his court appearance on Zoom during a surgery. The judge says, are you in surgery right now. This is my paraphrasing. He said,
no, but that's okay. There's another doctor here standing by in case I need to give you my attention.
exactly. And judge is like, I don't feel quite comfortable with that. This doesn't make me excited.
Let's talk about your pits.
And
most antiperspirants have ingredients you can't even pronounce, but it's hard to find a natural deodorant that works.
You know how it plays these commercials ahead of time.
California doctor
but the
under
video
investigation
is trying to play without me. And so the judge was like, I don't think this is a good idea. Let's not do this. Maybe we should move your case to another time. Off you go with it, Judge. Off you go with it.
Okay. We're not ogres. We understand life happens. We understand children get sick. People get in a bad mood. People get in car accidents. All you have to do is say to the judge, I need to be excused. I'm so sorry. There's some things I can't avoid. Can we reschedule? I don't know if the doctor was trying to find favor. You're a judge, I'm a doctor, we see eye to eye, but we really don't operate that way. We look at the facts, we look at your history, and make a decision. The fact that you're a doctor, police officer, a judge, a homeless person on the street has little to do, if anything, with our decision. You either ran the red light or you didn't run the red light. I don't know why he chose to do that in an operating room. And the judge was spot on. It says it was something like, if you don't want to protect your patient, I will. And kind of the role of the judicial system is to protect everybody's rights. The prosecutor's role is to...
about your pits.
Keep trying to play. Sorry, Judge.
Okay. Prosecutor's role is to prove the case beyond and to the excuse of reasonable doubt. I'm sorry, let me slow down. The prosecuting authority or district attorney in some states role is to prove the case beyond and to the exclusion of reasonable doubt. And the public defender's role, or your private attorney, is to make sure the state maintains their responsibility and obligation. As a judge, we are the gatekeeper. We call the balls and strikes. We have no stake in there. We just make the decision based on the facts that are in front of us. And the fact that he chose to do this on Zoom was improper and unethical. And I hope the judge kind of did more than just reschedule him. I hope he gave him a good talking to, because if you'll do that kind of action in public, on the record, in front of a judge, how will you conduct yourself when nobody's looking, when you're in the operating room by yourself, or when you're in the office with the patient by yourself? I'm throwing no shade on this office or for this doctor, but I'm saying as a gatekeeper, the justice system is a gatekeeper, we need to be aware that some things are not appropriate and not called for, and we need to take appropriate actions. So the doctor was totally guilty of unethical, improper, and bad conduct. Yes. What about HIPAA? Well, we don't know what type of doctor he was. I don't know where he was. And so I don't think there's a HIPAA implication. But this client will say, I was on the table and he was doing that, and make it known. Now, can the client expose the evidence and waive? That means give up his HIPAA rights. HIPAA is the protection under the law that says no one should know your medical information without your permission. And so I was not really concerned about the HIPAA implications, because I don't think that there was enough information about, we know the doctor's name and probably where he was, but I don't think there was any HIPAA implications. But I may be wrong. The patient may have a whole different attitude in another time. And so I think the conduct was improper. Not to say we haven't seen this thing on Zoom. A lot of times people I don't know, they're lying in bed, or their children are playing games behind them, or they're smoking, or they're at a party, or doing something they're not supposed to do, or big marijuana leaf hung up on a banister overhead. So that's my take on the doctor and his inappropriate conduct. Judge Vivian? Uh-oh. I think I lost Judge Vivian. I think she's no, she's okay. Let me say one more thing about the Zoom thing. Um, the Zoom thing. The Constitution demands that we kind of hear and see you um, to make a decision. We can determine issues of credibility more if we see you. And so with the advent of Zoom now, not just a phone call, with the advent of Zoom, the judge can make a decision based on what you say and kind of how you say it. Now, I know a few minutes ago about, I said something about whether you're a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, it really doesn't matter. But we have to determine issues of credibility. One of the things that we do with credibility is to see how you answer a question. If you're looking to the side, if you're rolling, if you're thinking, and we had some nonverbal clues that we learned even in law school or trial practice to help us judge credibility. So we make a decision based not on the law, well, not just only on the law, we make a decision based on the law, credibility issues, and like Judge Vivian says, sometimes we have experts to join us in the decision. So that Zoom presentation, that format was very important because we have to be able to kind of judge your credibility. Not in all situations. I mean, it was just a traffic ticket. I don't know what his situation was. A traffic ticket. We're not that concerned about credibility. So that's my take on the doctor and his totally unprofessional, unethical, uncalled for conduct. Zoom etiquette.
I do know that they are taking up an issue with ethics committee, and this was in California, by the way. I was trying to show you guys the video, but I'm having a bit of trouble getting it to play. I'm terribly sorry. I thought it was a good clip to show you. But the judge did talk about safety, and yes, let's talk about Zoom etiquette. That's part of what I wanted to get into by talking about this story. I've been doing Zoom hearings now and court hearings on Zoom for quite some time since this pandemic. And while it is a blessing because, we can communicate with each other in these times when we cannot. Oh, Regina, I'm sorry. I have to read this now while I see it. Thank God Florida gets enough flack as it is. It was not Florida. It wasn't Florida. Yeah.
I just want to tell you, it's 47 minutes. The Zoom etiquette could be a show totally by itself. But if you want to start on it, that's fine. That's fine.
We'll tap into it so they'll know what we have for next time. Okay. Zoom etiquette. For those who forget, I just want to throw out there as an ending comment since we're closing off. Although we haven't quite heard from you guys yet, we do want to know. So drop in the comments. Do you think the doctor should have some criminal liability here, or just civil liability to the person on the table? Should any kind of repercussions come that you think outside of just maybe the license review from the medical board? Should this become an actual case in front of a court, in front of a judge? Sound off on what you think while I quickly give 3 quick pointers about Zoom etiquette for courts. Just 3. We're going to give you a little bit of the spice now so that when we do Zoom etiquette in a future video, you'll know. Let me give you the spice. Zoom etiquette number 1. It is still a courtroom, people. People think it's okay to be like smoking a doobie. They'll be like, do you know that the judge can see you? This is not a mirror. This is not a two-way glass. We can see you. It's a video. That's number 1. Please remember that you are still in a courtroom. Number two that I suggest is please don't come into the Zoom in any court hearing screaming. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, I'm here. We see you. We can read.
We see you.
We recognize someone has entered. We hear you. You're interrupting the judge and it only frustrates him or her. And my third biggest pointer of the day is if you're going to be on some kind of charge, please don't find yourself doing that on your Zoom video. For those who think that this is a really redundant thing to say, it is not. This has happened. If you're being charged with a particular crime and you are showing said crime on your video during the Zoom, we got you, boo. You're caught. So don't do that. Those are my 3 tips. Now, I can't wait to talk about Zoom etiquette in a future video because I have stories.
Yes, indeed. And one of the things about Zoom etiquette, please don't be yelling at your children and stuff in the background and telling them bring you something or sit your butt down. You're in a courtroom. Not only the way you dress, you're in a courtroom.
Well, don't get me started on the clothes and the falling asleep. And it's so this could go, no, we're running in 50 minutes. We got to stop.
Yeah. Yes. And fixing your makeup and your hair. We're all seeing you saying, we're seeing, everybody's seeing.
Driving while you on Zoom, get in an accident. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Okay, you want to see Shiana Jenkins? So that segment?
I think it's Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, I like
Cheyenne, I think that there should be some civil action taken. Okay, yeah, I agree. There should probably be some civil action taken here. At the end of the day, even though it was very, very, very brief, I'm just going to show you guys comments really fast. Even though it's very, very, very brief, at the end of the day, I think that it can feel a little uncomfortable for the patient. So I'm ruling against the doctor.
I think we have a unanimous verdict.
Did we agree? Look at
first time. Okay. Have to make up for the shade I threw Oprah. I didn't really throw her shade, but
we threw a lot of shade tonight, guys. I put these bad boys on so many times tonight.
I like Mr. Alex's comment saying people caught driving license suspended on Zoom driving a car. Really? Yes.
Don't tell nobody. They can't. It's a 2-way mirror. We can't see them.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, well.
All right. Alexis, it's nice seeing you. She was one of the clerks that I've had at the public at the where am I? At the courthouse. Oh Lord.
Good.
We thank you guys for joining.
Yes, thank you.
Feel free to send us on the page any topics that you want to discuss, guys. We want to hear from you. This is a show that we want you to feel as an active participant. We don't just want to be here. We want you guys to be a part. We are so excited to have you. And
thanks to all my family and friends. Gerald, I know you're listening. Gerald from Jamaica. J. Earl from Jamaica. Thanks. Thank you.
Guys, we'll see you later.
Thank you.